liberated with the help of a nun. This interesting case is a good example of what can happen through no fault of one's own. The narrator is Sister Maria Teresa, an Italian missionary nun who taught at a secondary school near Sao Paulo, Brasilia, in Brazil. About 700 girls attended the school. 80 of them were not local and lived at the institute with the nuns. Among them was Gloria, a diligent, well-mannered, helpful girl who was the oldest of 6 siblings and in her last year of training as an elementary school teacher. Her father had died, and her grandfather was paying for her tuition, hoping that once she became a teacher, she would support her siblings. Shortly after Gloria returned from her vacation to her hometown, Sister Maria Teresa started to notice something that had never happened before. The teachers were complaining about Gloria. She had changed. She seemed distant and frequently skipped her classes. So the concerned sisters sent for her, pretending to be interested in her geography lessons. The girl arrived with her textbook, and as soon as she opened it, out came a small, folded handkerchief, brightly colored in red, green, and yellow. When the nun tried to grab it, the handkerchief seemed to avoid her outstretched hand, disappearing into thin air. When Gloria saw this, she paled and exclaimed, "Oh my! I cannot lose it." At that point, the class bell rang, and Sister sent the girl back to class, telling her she would help her find the missing handkerchief later. Next, the nun went to Gloria's private desk and thoroughly leafed through each book and work paper, page by page. Finally, she found the handkerchief at the bottom of the last book and had to grasp it tightly because it seemed electrified, as though trying to escape. This event was so bizarre that the nun was immediately suspicious, and, with some trepidation, she begged for Our Lady's intercession. Then she addressed the small handkerchief, as though talking to a demon, saying, "Shame on you. The Most Holy Virgin Mary has already crushed you." And, running to the kitchen, she threw it into a large stove where the fire was burning hot. After the handkerchief burned, Gloria could no longer keep food in her stomach. She seemed to be wasting away, day by day. A worried Sister Maria Teresa took the girl aside and convinced her to tell her what had happened during her visit to her family. The story was one of hard work, sleepless nights, and a strange encounter. From the very beginning of her visit, she was busy all day, watching her younger siblings and taking care of the house, so her mother could earn some money as a house cleaner. At night, she could not sleep because a deafening noise, which seemed to come from her pillow, kept her awake. Then, one day, a woman walked into her house and told her peremptorily, "As soon as you graduate, you shall marry my son. In the meantime, take this handkerchief and guard it carefully. If you lose it, you will no longer be able to study. You will fail your exams, and you will die." Crying, the girl continued with her story, saying that she tried to do as she was told because of her love of her mother and her siblings. Sister Maria Teresa listened intently, then reassured her and said, "Trust in Our Lady and follow my advice." First, they went to church, where Gloria made a good confession. Then they went to the girl's dorm when there was no one around. The nun inspected the noisy pillow and told Gloria to tear it apart. Shaking with fear, the girl obeyed. There, they found a bulky object, wrapped in cloth. As soon as she saw it, Gloria blanched and exclaimed, "My hair!" Then she remembered that, on the day of her strange encounter, her visitor had deftly snipped a lock of her long hair and had taken it with her. However, finding a small handkerchief in her pillow, identical to the one that had been burned, was an even bigger surprise. On one side of the schoolyard, there was a trash can for burning paper. The two lit a fire and threw in it everything that was in the pillow. The wrapper, hair, and other small objects burned quickly, but the handkerchief was more resilient, so they added more paper to the fire before it finally burned. All the while, they were praying, which is very important in these circumstances, and Sister Maria Teresa kept repeating, "May the feet of our most holy Virgin Mary continue to crush you, damned spirit." After this, Gloria's appetite came back. She was able to sleep soundly, and she did well in class. She felt at peace and free. Sister Maria Teresa concluded her story by telling me that she had never believed that hexes were real, but now